How's it going, guys? I'm streaming to you live on my nice new Surface Book 2. Where am I? This is awesome. I don't know if you've seen this shirt before, but this is the Prayer of Nepal. This was a reward from going ahead and donating to the cause. There was, something really bad that happened, natural disaster in Nepal, and Bungie did this thing where if you donated, they'd give you a shirt, which is cool. They give you a little emblem in game, but the main thing is money went to support those people in Nepal. So that was my first time I invested money into the idea of Bungie and supported them. Now, when I initially supported, I knew that the money that I was putting in was going to a good cause. Just like when you buy stuff off of their online store, they say that all of the support goes to a nice cause. I have a couple of just a couple of like little pins here, stuff that I've collected. Nice little things. But I like that the Bungie Foundation. Now I actually have no idea what they're actually doing, but I hear it's a very good cause. Yeah, so I've been playing Destiny a long time, like a really long time. I enjoy the game. At least I used to. I kind of do now, but not as much as I used to. And all the stuff that I'm reading online about loot box issues with other companies and Bungie's like events like the Dawning where they keep saying it's behind a paywall and stuff like that. I have a slightly different view of all of that. I don't have a lot of gameplay video to be showing right now, but I do have some thoughts I kind of want to get off of my chest. So here we go. I started playing Destiny in year one. At that time, there was a couple friends that played with me. It was a lot of fun. We went and we did lots of things together. We even got flawless on the raid. Yeah. So initially, there was a couple of hiccups. The first one was there was this loot cave that people posted online about, and when you went there, you got all these engrams, and engrams were something that were kind of hard to get at the time, especially the purple ones, which were like legendaries. But at that time, when we got the legendary engrams, they were decrypting to blues. So that was kind of disheartening. And then they fixed them, and when they fixed them, all of the purple ones that you had thrown out the window. There's a constant theme where Bungie will go ahead and they'll give you something, and in return, I don't know, just the way it is. So here's the thing. Topics that I want to talk about are Destiny 1. Destiny 1, I think, was a successful game. I think they did have a few hiccups. I think the first year was possibly the best year of Destiny. And that's because there was a lot of stuff hidden in the game, such as dead ghosts. There was Grimoire elements, where if you killed X amount of enemies, you could unlock these things called Grimoire cards. And the Grimoire cards would actually, some of them would allow you to get additional stuff out of the game. That was like the deep-seated depth to the game that made the game awesome. And anybody who played Destiny 1 and didn't like the Grimoire system, or post they didn't like the Grimoire system, I challenge you to think that either A, they're a shill for a company with some nefarious ideas and wanting to get rid of that kind of element, or B, they actually didn't play Destiny. And I'm leaning more towards B, because there's a lot of people that I'm seeing online that are very vocal about how Grimoire cards are horrible. But I don't think that they truly understood Grimoire cards, or they didn't even use the Grimoire card system. Because somebody like me, who on my train rides, I would read the Grimoires on my phone, I would use my computer, I would check Grimoires. To me, it was a giant checklist of more fun things to do after A, B, and C were done. Because you see, the story only goes so far. They only have so much of a story. And in Destiny 1, it was pretty big, actually. You travel across all sorts of planets. You fought the Vex. You found the Black Garden, and you killed the heart of the Vex, destroying the Vex and saving the universe. It was pretty good. At the end, you get this stranger's rifle, and you go on your merry way. Then you're in the end game area, where it's like, well, what do I do? And in Destiny 1, that was you grind strikes, or you do patrols. Now, as you had weapons, they had all these awesome little slots that made them just a little bit better each time, more powerful. It gave you something to chase after. It was great. And the best of all was the first thing they took away. And that was, to get them better, you had to use materials found in the world. It made it like an RPG. Like, it really did. I had several farming routes where I'd jump around and pick up these elements. Nothing was handed to you. You just knew, because when you first started playing, you picked up an item and it was like spin foil, and you're like, oh, so that's cool. I wonder what this is useful for. Later you find out, hey, that spin foil can go into elements of the gun to make it a little bit stronger, a little bit better. Those nodes were not annoying. At least they gave it depth. They gave it playability, and they gave good stuff. Some people who are lazy posted online saying, oh, I hate this. I hate these materials. This isn't good. So a lot of people who hate stuff online. Not enough people who promote like the good stuff. So the company listens to the people, right? So Bungie goes ahead and they introduce an NPC that sells these planetary materials. And any of the things that I was doing to gain those, they're gone. That's like one little piece of this Destiny pie. It's gone. Maybe it was like an outer casing to open to get to the pie, a little bit difficult, but it was something. It was a little bit of like somebody was thinking about the players, right? Let's give them an in-depth story to go on. Let's give them lore and a world to explore, and hidden things throughout that world that may or may not be integrated to the story. But you know what? Maybe there's this little nook and cranny, and you find a dead ghost there. That dead ghost, those are things to collect. It's like an Easter egg hunt. Dead ghosts were awesome in Destiny Vanilla. Vanilla Destiny Year 1. Awesome. The first DLC came out, The Dark Below. When this DLC came out, man, so some of my people who I worked with, that I was playing with, they played it. They played it a bit. My clan, Take 5, we kept going. We kept doing things. We figured out better ways to do it. Kill Crota. Better ways to kill Crota. It was getting to the point where I'd want to do another, Vault of Glass, but nobody else in my clan would, because there were no rewards to do Vault of Glass. That's one of those things that I kept hearing. There's no rewards to do so why should I do that thing? I don't like that. It's counterintuitive. If you're just doing it for the rewards, then why are you doing it in the first place? Aren't you doing it for the fun, for the enjoyment, for the story, for the gameplay? Especially the gameplay. Destiny has some of the best gunplay in any game I've ever played, to the point where I don't play first-person shooters, and I find myself addicted to Destiny, not because of the rewards, but because of the gameplay and the hidden elements that were fun to find. Great game. I love Destiny 1. Dark Below was okay. I really don't like the Hive. That's a personal choice. So Destiny 1, the story went, and it had several pathways it could go. Like, it introduced certain things in each mission. There was like this little side thing that it could go. One of them was the Temple of Crota. Crota was supposedly Oryx's father. A little bit of Hive lore. Well, that's good. We get into, Venus. We have Vex there. We find out about Dr. Shin and lost, research on the Vex and this kind of interesting stuff there. That never went anywhere. They never took that and turned it into a story. They did take the one called the Vault of Glass. Oh, it has reference to the Vault of Glass. Oh, that's the first raid. So after the game launched, about a week later or 2 weeks later, we got the Vault of Glass. It's pretty good. Good raid, fun. So there's that. Yeah, so Destiny, Vault of Glass, Crota's End, and then after Crota's End, during that period of time, there's only a couple of missions introduced. The light level went a little bit up. You know, it was good. Yeah, so then came the House of Wolves. Unfortunately, none of my clans survived until the House of Wolves. I was the only one left. So I would be playing a PlayStation 4, and House of Wolves came out. Playing that, came out with the Prison of Elders was the end activity, came with story missions leading up to it. New gear to get. I didn't like the way the gear looked. Just my personal opinion was I didn't like that art style. And it introduced some other elements and stuff like that that weren't there. You get to play at the Reef for the first time, which is where the Awoken went. Like there's these story elements that opened up. New social space was the Reef. And the new social space had House of Wolves kind of like themes, but you didn't get to see the Queen. The Queen was this character in the first story that had this pivotal moment where she helped you, and one day she'd ask you for your help in return. That's what the House of Wolves like premise was, is that you're now repaying your debt to the Queen, which is weird because you don't really meet the Queen at all during that DLC. I think you get to see her in some cutscenes, but it's not like an NPC where you can go into a room and, oh, there's Queen and there's Queen's brother, which, by the way, is the most mysterious, interesting character in all of Destiny. There are 3 of them. One is Xur, who comes every Friday and doesn't have a backstory. Number 2 is the Queen's brother, who is like, he was in this preview video before Destiny came out with like, out here in the wild, this is how we talk, and at gunpoint. It was like really crazy, interesting, like, oh, where's this going? Different voice though. But in the story, you know, she was the right-hand man to the Queen. In the Grimoire cards, they talk about how he's Crow and how after certain elements that happen, like it's interesting. Okay. And actually in the credits of Destiny, he's listed as Crow. So that's cool. We never find out any more information about this Crow guy. So him, Xur, and the Exo Stranger are the 3 main characters that I've kind of been interested in and wanted to know more about since I first saw them and since I first started playing Destiny. Because I'm a Destiny Year 1 player. They're the ones that were introduced to me. I don't care about some of the newer characters as much because those storylines were never completed. I mean, I get it. It's a big world, right? And Destiny 2, we'll get to that in a bit. And I'll probably have a description down below that breaks out times of what I'm talking about. Is an intention I have that I probably won't fulfill, but I'll give it a shot. Okay, so here we go. We got Destiny 1, first expansion, House of Wolves second expansion, long period of nothing. Now, during that long period of nothing, we're doing the Prison of Elders, the end boss of Skolas, we're attacking Skolas. The next week, they changed the modifiers to make it more difficult and more challenging. I don't have a clan, so I'm reaching out like straws to different people. Well, I mean, I do have a clan. I have Take 5. I never gave up on my clan because they're important to me. So I go ahead and use LFG, try and find new people. Destiny LFG.net. It's part of Planet whatever. I don't know. Anyways, going on the site, trying to find people, get people, go do Prison of Elders, Skolas. I'm meeting new friends. I have new people that I hang out with. It's actually really fun. If it wasn't for Destiny LFG, I wouldn't have as many players that I play Destiny with on the PlayStation 4. Now, I stopped playing on the PlayStation 4 when Destiny 2 came out for a couple of reasons, and I'll get to those. but I need to remember that as we get there. So, okay, so we're playing long period of time. We find out people on old consoles will have to move forward. So if you're on PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360, you're going to have to transfer your character to PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, respectively, PlayStation, Xbox, Xbox, by a certain date. If you don't do it, you're going to lose your progress. But if you do it, you get everything you did on the old system to the new. All your exotics follow you, everything. Your inventory follows you. That's the first time and the only time that Bungie ever switched from one major platform to another major platform, such as systems to newer systems or first game to second game, and your items and the things you collected and the things that you worked towards and that meant something to you followed you along. I'm not talking about a legacy. I'm talking about keepsakes, things that help you remember where you are and what you did, and things to show off to other people to say, hey, you know what? I was there. Yeah, I was there when this happened. I was there when this happened. I mean, I was there when they did the new Moment of Triumph. I was there when they did the old Moment of Triumph. I was there and did Vault of Glass. You know, stuff like that. Stuff that means something. So, okay, we're getting sidetracked. So the Taken King is going to get launched. We find out the logo, information about it. We're kind of stoked. We got to transfer our characters, yada, yada, yada. All this time, Destiny 1 came out. The first raid came out. First raid had this amazing exotic. They called it the Vex Mythoclast, and it was like the most strongest weapon in the entire game. In fact, every weapon in the Vault of Glass was arguably the best weapons would have been throughout the entirety of Destiny, except for the fact that Bungie initially and intentionally kind of left them behind. Now, what they could have done is they could have had a social space where you could have put up your sets of armor and stuff like that, and your weapons like on a rack or something. Like, yeah, I earned these. These are things I did. I can tell you the story of when I conquered the Vault of Glass, when I took out the Templar, when I went and snuck past the Gorgons, or when I took out all the Gorgons, when I obtained that Grimoire card for killing my first Gorgon. That was amazing. When I conquered Atheon in the Vault of Glass with my first fire team, when we did that, when I got my first flawless, those sort of things. But they don't have something like that in Destiny. No, instead what you get is the next DLC comes out, and a week before it came out, actually I need to turn back a little bit. So Destiny 1 came out. Destiny's first raid came out. The first raid pushed up something called the light level, which is like the guns and the weapons you had in the game were now more powerful, right? And then when the first DLC came out, the first expansion, The Dark Below, it came with a story, it came with a raid, it came with a new strike, a new Crucible playlist, but most importantly, it came with a higher light level. The weapons you got in that one were better than the weapons you got in Vanilla Destiny. And you couldn't use those original weapons as much in the newer one, but people still would, because the Vault Glass weapons, even though they were lower level, they were still more powerful than most of the stuff that came out of this. This is why these weapons were so awesome, but ultimately why I think designers at Bungie were like pulling their hair out, like, what are we going to do about these Vault of Glass weapons? They're just too good. They're just too good. And, you know, I don't have an answer for that. I enjoyed playing with them. They were fantastic. I didn't need another gun as long as I had my Fatebringer. It was the best weapon in the game. Better than the Gjallarhorn or the Vision of Confluence. These are great weapons I still remember to this day. Yeah, so when the Taken King came out, no, House of Wolves, sorry. So when House of Wolves came out, they even had a higher light level. So you have your first tier weapons. You have your Dark Below weapons, and the House of Wolves. House of Wolves also came with something called Etheric Light. Now, with Etheric Light, and this is their big thing to fans, they said, okay, what we did in the Dark Below was wrong, making the guns this way. It was a design choice, I'm sure, but they didn't say that. What they said was, we know you want to have your weapons, so we're going to let you have your weapons. You can take your weapon and you can make it the maximum light level using this Etheric Light. I tried telling my friends who quit Destiny, but it was too late. Cliff Trials had already sold his PlayStation 4. He's like, I'm done with this shit. I'm done. I'm out. Those people only bought the first DLC. They didn't buy the second one. I bought the Season Pass, and I enjoyed it. And I played. I got my weapons up. The Vex Myth class couldn't go up. Like, it went up, but it turned into a garbage weapon with that DLC. But then a week before the Taken King came out, all the weapons were pushed up to a maximum light level. And the special exotic from the Vaulted Glass was the Vex Myth Glass. The special exotic from the Dark Below was something called the Necrochasm, which was a kind of an auto rifle Vex kind of shooty gun. Pew, 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 pew. It shot faster than any weapon in the game. It was like a laser beam of bullets. It was awesome. Except for it did no damage. It had a perk that was supposed to make headshots on enemies, make them explode. But none of that happened because somebody in Bungie nerfed their own weapon before even releasing it. They were so afraid people were going to use it in Crucible and kill everybody in Crucible. I don't see what the issue with that is, but that's just me. I guess they don't want some sort of elitism or stuff like that, but it's okay. So the Taken King comes out. It introduces a lot more dead ghosts. It introduces, well, dead ghosts were introduced at both other DLCs too, but not as much as the Taken King. Okay, the Taken King also introduced calcified fragments. These are like dead ghosts, but maybe half of the dead ghosts that are there. There's this new thing that's the calcified fragments. They all have this lore that goes with them. The book of the, I forget what it was. It was Hive related. I'm not really interested in Hive, but it was cool. And Oryx, who you killed, Crota, who you killed earlier. Crota. You got Oryx, the new boss. He's Crota's dad. He's pissed off because you killed his son. So we've got vengeance and vengeance and vengeance. And I was kind of upset because the first Destiny was about hope, not about revenge. Hope. Yeah, we had a good golden age of technology after the Traveler came, and something called the Darkness came, and it destroyed everything, and now we're rebuilding. It was about rebuilding and hope. It was never about revenge. We found hope in restoring the Traveler by eliminating the heart in the middle of the Black Garden, which we listened to some exo stranger who didn't have a ghost, was not born from the light, like some other travelers. Yeah. So anyways, Taken King was awesome. It did come back with Tess Everest, who now had Eververse. And I didn't dislike Eververse. Now, there's a lot of people out there who are like, loot boxes, loot boxes, loot boxes, horrible, horrible, horrible. But the original premise of Eververse was that the money generated from Eververse would fund the live team in producing additional content. And they had some fun activities. They had a Halloween event where you got these masks. They were pretty awesome. They had all this other stuff. Things that would come and go, like I think they also had this Michael Jackson Thriller dance emote and just kind of some fun stuff. So we did that, and then we did the Sparrow Racing. SRL came for the holiday season. That was awesome. I loved SRL. One of my favorite memories of Destiny was SRL because back when I was doing the Dark Below and there was nothing to do, I developed my own little, well, I didn't develop it because it was already there on any of the patrol areas. They have these paths. They go in this big circle. And I was like trying to convince all my friends to like, let's do a racing league. Let's do Sparrow Racing, you know? We'll call it DSR, Destiny Sparrow Racing, right? So yeah, so now they had SRL. That was fun. For each of these events, they had this is kind of important. They had a tier of stuff you could get without paying, and a tier of stuff that you could get with paying, but neither the stuff that you paid for or didn't pay for didn't affect the game in any way, right? It was kind of like how I had said earlier, you know, I'd like, you know, something that I could have that to say, hey, I did this. This was awesome. Those sort of things we just got. We got for the Halloween event, we got masks that would crumple at the end of the event and be gone forever. But everybody started with one mask that if you discarded it, you got something called glue. And if you found a mask you really liked, you could apply that glue to the mask you really liked, and it would stay in your inventory for the duration of you playing Destiny. Right? I mean, that's awesome, right? So there's that. If you paid money, you got to get all these little new things. You got these masks, just a bunch of random masks you could get from Eververse. It was like an engram that would give you masks, right? So trying to get the masks you wanted. There was a hidden mask that was a flaming skull that was really awesome. I enjoyed that event. I put money into it because I knew A, I'd be able to keep that stuff. B, get some new emotes. C, the money goes towards future content. And it's not just money grabbing from Activision. No, I'm not saying from Bungie. I'm saying from Activision. Because to be honest, most of the really money grabbing stuff, like this new, what is it? This Ghost for Amazon Echo, it's not published by Bungie. It's not even published on the Bungie store. If you look at it on Amazon.com, it's the people who posted it is Activision. Activision are the people who are more in tune with the way money works, I think, than Bungie, who is more about creating awesome worlds, like Cyan, you know, the makers of Riven of Mist or Uru, which are all awesome games, but long in the past. Okay, so The Taken King had a spring update that was paid, that we found out was funded entirely by the money we put into Eververse. That update was free. They gave a lot of quality of life improvements. Then the next DLC was announced, and it would be the Rise of Iron. And instead of smaller DLCs like Vanilla Destiny, the Taken King kind of spread out, and then we got a big update, which was called, well, we got the Taken Spring update. And then we got the Rise of Iron. We didn't get Destiny 2. Some people were like, we're going to get Destiny 2. No, we got the Rise of Iron, which was an expansion. It added new levels, new stuff, new weapons. It added a whole new section on the map. The map was now getting really big. It was awesome. We had all the old spaces and these new spaces, and it was awesome because we could choose to go with them, and the world was ever changing. It was like something, I don't know exactly when he said it, but the Destiny community person liaison, Deej, had said that he, in interviews, that Destiny was supposed to be an ever-changing world where you could go, and it would change along with time, and you would be able to experience those changes with your friends. And it was awesome. It was really good, right? So yeah, so we got that. And yes, Rise of Iron. Rise of Iron came and went. At the end of Rise of Iron, actually during Rise of Iron and the one before it, the Taken King. Taken King had a special quest for an item called Sleeper Simulant, which was this long, extravagant quest that had you doing kind of crazy stuff. And the Rise of Iron had you doing all sorts of crazy stuff to get this exotic called the Outlook Prime, something like that. Outbreak Prime. The quests were better than the weapons, except for the case of the Sleeper Simulant. It was like a fusion rifle that sat in the heavy slot, so it was like crazy. Except for now in Destiny 2, all fusion rifles are in the heavy slot, so it's good. You know. So we find out that I've been collecting, actually, to be honest. I've been collecting all sorts of stuff. I've been putting my heart into this game. I've been collecting all the emblems that I could, getting flawless every year at trials, getting all this stuff that like it means so much to me. Destiny 2 is announced, and they say that we can play, and there'll be another update, and then after the another update, our characters will get locked in, and they'll be transferred over to Destiny 2. Okay, I'm all locked in. I'm all 100% on board. This is going to be awesome. So, the next update is called The Age of Triumph. So, the Age of Triumph, earlier they had Moments of Triumph every year where you'd complete certain activities that happen throughout Destiny and you get a special emblem. Complete special activities throughout Destiny, get a special emblem. And they had shirts. Complete special activities, get a shirt. That's kind of cool. Through their store. And yeah, so Age of Triumph did something I really didn't like. That's all the things that I had earned, that I'd worked really hard to earn, that you couldn't get otherwise. They just made it all available. You could get anything in the game. So I had this full suit of original Dead Orbit armor, which I wore in the Crucible, which was super low light level, but it meant the world to me. I mean, I upgraded all my stuff to later light level by getting new ones to replace the ones, but it just doesn't mean as much if anybody can get it, right? The thing that made it valuable to me was that I knew I had done it because I was there in the beginning, right? If everybody can get the Old Guard shader and the Old Guard Sparrow set, what does that mean? I mean, we're told that was our way of showing that we were there at the beginning. I didn't even get to that part. So when Destiny 2 launched, they cut off everything. All the shaders, all the stuff that you had earned, all the stuff that you were working towards, anything that you had put invested your interest into, anything that you want to put up to show that, hey, I supported something, or hey, I was a part of something. All of that stuff that says I was there. It's gone. We got a slideshow that showed us all of the achievements we ever did. And it meant a lot to me. But the biggest thing I took out of Destiny 2 is don't get attached to stuff. Don't put your heart into the game. Because right now, with the way the team at Activision are, they're going to ensure that you're spending money on Eververse items and that you're playing the game to get the new items and that all the old stuff is going away. And I say Activision, not Bungie, because I don't think Bungie exists anymore. I really feel like the people who made Halo, the people who made Destiny, I feel like for the most part, they're gone. I mean, maybe some talented artists are left behind and maybe a musician. But I think for the most part, the stories, the way stuff feels, it doesn't feel like Destiny anymore. I don't feel like I'm playing Destiny. So I bought Destiny 2, Collector's Edition. Got it for the backpack. The backpack's all right. It's good quality material. Solid character wearing it in the game. Big whoop. But I like the art design of most of the stuff from Bungie. So I like the backpack because it's designed nice. It looks nice. It doesn't look like anything else. And it doesn't look too crazy gamish. It did have that weird giant spike thing that I kind of don't use with it. So the weird 3 hoops on the top, I have no idea. I can't really tighten them down and just make it look normal. So whatever. Yeah. I'm pissed. I'm pissed that I don't have anything from my year 1 Destiny 1 character moved over to Destiny 2's world. I'm pissed that in Destiny 2 they didn't carry over the Destiny 1 locations. They didn't carry on the Destiny 1 raids or activities to do, so that new people who get into Destiny couldn't go back and do those old things to try and get up to speed while we're waiting for the next DLC story contents, which they're... So Destiny 2, its big issues are the things it brags about the most, and that's streamlining. Whoever works at Bungie and / Activision, whatever, and decided, hey, you know what? These guns that you upgrade, we're going to make them super simple. So when anybody gets a gun, they can just use it right there. That is garbage. And absolute garbage. And the reason it's garbage is because it doesn't give you something to accomplish. So the thing you have means nothing. If I buy a video game, it means the world to me. If I get a collection of 1,000 video games for $10, each of those games is nearly worthless to me because I didn't invest time and effort into it. Destiny 1 was the most addictive, fun experience I've ever had. I miss it. I'm like going through withdrawals, right? Destiny 2 is not filling that void. It isn't. And a lot of my friends are dropping out. And I might be joining them too. I don't know. Well, I hope not. So, Destiny 2. Got rid of Grimoire. No more Grimoire. No more of these Grimoire cards that you can collect by killing things. Actually, there's no reason to actually work at killing things. Nothing. The lore is all hidden throughout the game as little audio clips you hear once and then you can play it again. So Destiny 2 had a good story, kind of. It had a good setting. Yeah, the setting was good. It had a good elements to it. It was a lot of fun. It just doesn't have any reason to replay it. No replayability. None. The raids, meh. It's kind of a combination of all the raids come before it. I'm not a big fan. The raid layer, yeah, it's got some impressive visuals. But again, the armor's meh. The weapons you get from it really don't give you any specific buff specifically for the raid. Nothing's tailored for the raid. So in Destiny 1 in the Vault of Glass, you got this thing called Oracle Disruptor on your Vault of Glass weapons that dealt with the Vault of Glass. Everything was synergistic and amazing. And in Destiny 2, it's like, we'll just give you a weapon. It doesn't have any special perk. It's cool looking. Our team is there. Whoever you have working at your, I don't even know what you call your rewards team or whatever, that are like, no, that gun's a little too powerful. It needs to get weaker so that we don't have anything overpowered. And whoever the person who's saying that, I hate you. I absolutely hate you. You destroyed Destiny for me. The people who do balancing, come on. It's all for PvP, is what I'm guessing. And the people who make artificial limiters for like opening chests. So if I'm running around, I'm opening chests. That's something I used to do for fun in Destiny 1. Now in Destiny 2, if I do it, I get like a 5-minute lockout. There's all the activities I did in Destiny 1 are kind of shunned upon in Destiny 2, I feel. I almost feel all the activities in Destiny 2 are shunned upon by the staff. I feel like the staff maybe doesn't even like Destiny. I mean, that's the only explanation I could come up with. If they cared about Destiny 1, they wouldn't have done half of the douchebaggery things that they did to Destiny 2. I was watching like this podcast with like developers and stuff talking about how, yeah, the live team had Destiny 1's development at the last bit while they were developing Destiny 2. And then when they got reintegrated, they had to find out there's a bunch of things they don't do anymore. Well, those were the things that I did. Those were the things that I enjoyed. Those were the reasons I played. And you take those away. I spent a lot of money on Destiny 1. Spent a lot of money on the Bungie store. I spent a lot of money on Eververse during the first year of Destiny. Before the Age of Triumph, I had every emote. I had every emblem that I could get my grubby little hands on. I had every Sparrow from Sparrow Racing. I had every Sparrow Racing outfit. I had my inventory so meticulously organized that I had all these things that I had achieved and no way to show them off. No way to put them in to go back and relish. No private room that I could like put my trophies on. None of that. And then, so in Destiny 2, I wanted to move over to PC so I could play with these people that I hadn't really been able to play with, right? So like people from my old clan, they're on the PC. So I go ahead. And I move over to PC from PS4. None of my things that I did follow me over, but that's okay, right? Because I did it on PS4. But you know what? I'm at the point where it doesn't really matter. I mean, if Bungie went ahead and said, hey, guess what, John? All your stuff from Destiny 1, you can earn it back by fixing the tower. That'd give me something to shoot for. But I'm on a new platform now. I'm on the PC. And I'd want all my stuff. All my stuff. I want it all from the PS4 to migrate over to the PC. PC is the best platform to play Destiny 2 on. It's absolutely amazing. And if I can't get everything, the actual minimum that I should have gotten from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2 is the emblems. Not even the shaders. The shaders were great. I would have been like, I need these shaders, but just the emblems. I understand the emotes would be too much to ask for, but damn, I mean, I paid a lot of money for those emotes. But just the emblems. Just the emblems. Legacy emblems. I mean, it wouldn't be too hard. Maybe they don't change the graphic on the top. Maybe they're just the emblems. But you know what? Then I could have the emblem there when I'm floating in things. I did this. I did this. Yeah, I did Flawless Year 1 of Destiny. Yeah, I did the Vault of Glass. I did this. And I understand that the LFG, some people were like, oh, you have to have this emblem to do this right. That's neither here nor there. The emblems were like just a representative of what you did, things you were proud of. I don't know. It's hard to play Destiny 1 because the website and the web interface and the interface to Bungie's network is kind of meh right now. There's no more Grimoire. It's offline. The patch kind of like the Grimoire. Yeah, so Destiny 2 had this the first DLC, the Age of Osiris, and just like the Dark Below, it introduced well, we call it a raid layer, but they call it a new raid. This thing called an Infinite Forest, which was hailed as it's a missed opportunity, because what would have been great is if it was multiple directions and dead ends, and something a little more like mystery and intriguing thought. But all we got is A to B, kill boss. A to B, kill boss. A to B, kill boss. It's super linear, super dumb. Like visually, it's nice, but stuff gets in your way from progressing. But it's still just A to B. There's no mystery, no intrigue. Destiny 2 killed the mystery and the intrigue that was in Destiny 1. It killed the hope for a better future. It killed any recollection that what I'm playing is Destiny. Now I feel like what I'm playing is generic space shooter that looks like Destiny. It feels like a Destiny ripoff. It feels like an underwhelming Destiny ripoff. And I'm really unhappy. Extremely.